Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is the day after Christmas. Well, the day after the weekend of Christmas. And I'm probably going to be doing 2 more shows this year. This is show number 201. I can't even believe that. When I started, I just thought it was going to be an experiment and see how it went. And I guess it went pretty good. So without further ado, let's kind of get into some of the slides and, kind of what I got for you today. Well, it's a good day because Apple is near its $137.98 buy point. Now, buying below a buy point can be risky a little bit, but with this stock, I think that we're finally recovering the amount where we were when we split on August 31st. So this is sort of a continuation of where it's been, and I think we're moving up nicely. And I just kind of wanted to go over a few things, but the key thing here is that, we are at 100, we're right below that 137.98 level. And I started, fattening up my positions on Apple a little bit today, and so I've been buying Apple in anticipation of it moving higher than that. This isn't going to be a rocket ship like Tesla, but I think it's going to do very well. I've been buying since about 118, so we're moving nicely, and I think we're going to move higher on this one just because of everything else of the way it's moving. The market direction is still. It's still definitely in a confirmed uptrend, which is good. I mean, the S&P is up 1%, not a whole lot of volume. Dow Jones is also, holding that 30,000 level, which is so important. New York Stock Exchange is down a little bit. The Dow's down a little bit, but no surprise there. There's going to be some selling and towards the end of the year on that. So, that's definitely something you want to, you might want to lighten your portfolio if you've got some winners. Maybe it's a good time to take some profit, depending on how you did this year. It may be a good time to start doing that. I've definitely been selling some of my positions, getting ready for the end of the year. Just wanted to show you the chart on Apple, and this is a kind of a key chart here, and basically where we are with the with Apple is that we have the relative strength of 83, which my minimum, of course, is 80 on that. We have some nice buying going on, but mainly we have the continuation of this trend that started at about 112.59, where it made it when its bottom, and it's sort of inching up towards this very, very key level, this 137.98 level. And this is a key level, I think. If it surpasses this, and of course, I've been buying in anticipation of it. I think that it will, this will form the new bottom, and hopefully we'll be up from that. So this is a cup without handle base. Sometimes what can happen is it can move over that, and then it can form a handle. Hopefully that won't happen in this case, because this is a fairly slow moving relative to some of the other rocket ships that we've had, slow moving stock. So this hopefully will be a good opportunity here to to buy some more if you don't have any already portfolio. Of the mega cap stocks, I think that this one really is, really the best of the breed, at least currently. We will see, how that shapes up. Let's see if I can get to the next slide here. Well, we seem to have locked up. Oh, right, there we go. Great. Okay. Also wanted to show you, I also want to show you a Tesla. This, I did buy some Tesla this morning when it moved above the key level that I was looking for, and that was 665. So I do think it's a buy above 665, as you can see when this slide was taken. It was up about $6, 668. A little bit volatile, but we definitely have some, we definitely, hopefully, will be trading out of this range. The real key range, though, for Tesla is when it moves above the 695 level. Above that, I think it's going to have more strength. Right now, it's sort of consolidating. Hopefully, it'll move above that. but it still has a relative strength of 99, and I think it's a good buy above about 665. What I did on this one, for everybody out there, is that I do a buy stop limit order where if it goes above 665 in this case, then I buy it typically 10 cents above that. And I definitely have a video on this that shows you kind of how to do this. It's sort of a way that you can automate some of your buying when stocks move, to move above a key level. So let's see the next one here. Basically, just wanted to kind of show you another stock that is doing well in this environment. It's a kind of a mixed environment right now. Some good, some bad. I just want to. I didn't buy any more of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust today, but it is definitely it is definitely what you might want to consider. Bitcoin is making an all-time high, and this is a good way to participate in Bitcoin because it's very, very fungible. You can get in and out of the position. I started buying this when it was about at, when it was about at 24, and then I've been riding it up I've been riding it up ever since then. So that is a good level to start buying it. I do believe that this is going to go higher. Now, GBTC holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. So, and I think Bitcoin is probably the premier the premier cryptocurrency currently. So it's probably a good idea to stay with the kind of the winners like that. And I think GBTC at this level is not a bad buy either. Just want to kind of give you an update on my portfolio. Now, some of this is in the small portfolio. Other ones are not, but just kind of give you an idea of what I'm holding currently. Of course, I increased my position in Apple. I'm in Blink charging. It's off a little bit today, but it's up overall quite significantly. I'm in one called Progeny. This is a sort of a in vitro fertilization insurance company. It's a very interesting company. PGNY is the symbol on that. Of course, I'm in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I'm in Palantir. I'm off a little bit today on Palantir. I'm in a company called Chegg, which is also in the healthcare space. Of course, I bought back into Tesla, and then I'm trying out a new one. This is GRBK. This is Green Brick Partners, and what this does is it's primarily in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They own several thousand rentals here in Dallas, and of course, Dallas is growing very, very rapidly. So I like them. I like them as well. So that's just kind of gives you the the general idea of kind of where it's at, and let's get into some of the questions here. So hopefully we'll bring up my. There we go. Super. And thank you for waiting. Thank you for holding on here, and take the first question. Hi, Jim. Hey, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so very much for watching. Well, I should be on 2 more days before the end of the year. Probably going to do a wrap-up show on my best of 2020. The best stock that I had in 2020 by far has been Tesla. So I'll be talking about that and maybe some of the other ones like NVIDIA. So that'll be great. Okay, take a look. Let's look at Parks. This is Parks.com, and I do think this is potentially a good one. I got shaken out of this, but I do think it's still looking pretty good. Even though has pulled below the it's pulled below the 40-day moving average. Now the key here, of course, it seems like it moved up to the 40-day line and then it bounced downwards. So we're currently moving down. The key line to look at here, of course, is the 200-day moving average. You don't want to have it fall below to that. I would set at this level, depending on where you bought it. I think that you could definitely hold that position right there. And I do think we're going to get. I think we're going to get a. I do think we're going to get a reversal on this one because of various reasons. Partially because the. It looks like the 21-day moving averages looks like it's moving to the upside. Now we can't tell yet, but this one should be probably pretty good. So I think we want to hang on to this one. It's basically it's a 77 checklist. got very nice fund ownership. It doubled basically. I think there's a lot of people that are interested in this stock. But let's just take a look at the weekly chart, because you can't just depend on the daily, obviously. As long as it holds above the 200-day, I think we're okay. I don't typically like. One of the best places to buy a stock is when it moves below the 40-day line and then it reverses. Now we don't have a reversal yet. We had it up, and then we may have, but wait until that reversal happens. I would buy this above basically that line, about $13.25. So we're pretty close to that. So it still has a 98 relative strength rating. Sales are up, so it looks pretty good. But I would keep careful. I would definitely set a stop loss at 10 on this one. Set a stop loss at 10. But I do think it's a good stock. But if you're not in it, I wouldn't necessarily rush to get into it. But if it did move above about 13.25, 13.50, then I think that it might work, because I do think we're going to get a reversal on this one. At least that's what the chart's looking like. So it's a good stock, I think, and I think going into the new year, I think there'll be a lot of interest in it, just because a lot of people are going to have to fix their cars. Well, take a look at this is from TikTok. ANI, I hope you're still there. 272. Let's look at Palantir. It's been off a little bit today. I have Palantir, so it is definitely off. Let's kind of take a look at the chart. And of course, this came off an IPO base, so IPOs are more difficult to buy, but they can be very rewarding. It's definitely pulled back to, it's pulled back to the 21-day moving average. I think hopefully we'll get a bounce off of that 21-day. That's sort of been the story today. The real area that it needs to defend is about this $24 mark. So we're still quite a ways above that. Volume has been a little bit less than average. Definitely selling here. The question is, this is probably profit taking into the new year, but who knows? Or changing the position. It does look, of course, it only had one true buy point, and that was at 11.42. So hopefully, I have my stop losses set at about 24 in this one. I still think that this has got some good, could be very, very good. Its checklist has dropped down a little bit, 6 out of 9. It's still in there, and it does have quite a few funds, 77 funds in it. So I'm still liking the chart on Palantir. Not quite as strong as it was before, but still absolutely a good stock, and I definitely am in it. So there you go. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a quick look. Looking through the TikTok. Thanks for taking a look. Okay. All right. Okay. I bought Tesla at 671, and I can keep it until Friday. Let's take a look at that. That's not a bad buy point, by the way, for Tesla. It's always good to try to buy it when it's moving to the upside. So let's look at the daily chart here. It's just kind of stuck around the 665 buy point. It's kind of stuck right about here. You probably could stay in until Friday. I'm seeing some pretty nice volume is coming up. That's good. Let's look at the weekly chart. I mean, we're up for the week on this, and we still have 99 relative strength. So, I don't think this is going to be as huge as it has been up until now. Now, by the way, for everyone out there, I had a stop loss at 665. That's where I sold it, and then it pulled back. And then I'm now that it's moving above 665, I'm back in Tesla. So, I don't know if you want to go all in here, but I have only a quarter position currently. I'm really waiting for it to go above 695. I think if it goes above 695, I think that is the key level, and I think that will really power it higher. But right now it's sort of consolidating from about from about that 645 level on up to about 665. Now it's above that currently, and hopefully it'll trade higher than that today. So that's what I'm hoping, anyways. All right. Should we go into Apple with full position? Well, here's the thing. I have been going into Apple with full positions right now, and thank you very much for that. I have. I think it's safe to go in with a full position currently. With Apple being at where it is, it's not extended or anything like that. It's right below that very, very key level of 137.98. So let's pull up a chart. Let's pull up the live chart for Apple just to kind of see where we're going. I'm going to pull up the daily chart. Now, normally you would start with the weekly chart, but I'm gonna start with the daily chart because that's going to kind of give us the tactics here. You can see, I don't know if you can see this here, this little blue area here. It's kind of bluish. That is the buy zone, and it basically goes from about 137.98, which is about 138, on up to about 143. So that's 133, 134. So I do think that this is a relatively safe place to buy it. Now it could pull back. It really won't have a place to rest until it pulls above this point, but it is looking like that is indeed the case because we've got, the 200. We've got everything aligned properly. We've got the 200-day line. We've got the 40-day line. We've got the 21-day exponential. We've got the 10-day line, and as you can see, they're all in order. They're all in order from largest to smallest. So that's good. So that's showing generally an accelerating upward trend. We have also an 83. So I'm pretty confident that a full position is probably warranted for Apple at this point. Now, it hasn't been since August 31st. Since August 31st, it's been really too low to, it really hasn't come back to its level. The reason for the 137.98 level is that is where it peaked on August 31st after the 4-for-1 split. So that is probably, I think you definitely can go back in to Apple again, and I think it probably will move. We'll move a little bit higher. So that's great. Okay, Ollie, thank you very much. AMD at 96.20. Let's look at it. AMD has been the bane of my existence. I have never. It's a great stock, but I have never really been able to buy it properly. I have to admit. This has been a tough stock. It looks like it's getting some support at the 21-day line, but let's look at the weekly and see if we have changed trend here. I don't think we have. It's just really, we don't really have a trend here. We don't really have a trend. We're above the 88.72 buy point. The question is, where is it going to go? Now, I would basically hold on to it right now, Ollie. I think it's your best bet. I would hold on to it. You're at 96.20. So, yeah, you're a bit high. You're right there. You know what? 96.20. You know what? This is a tough one. I would, if it falls below 90, if it falls below 90, I think you've got to sell it, unfortunately, and wait for it to start an upward trend. Right now, it's trending lower, and that's not good. So, boy, that's a very tough call. I think I would set a stop loss at about 90, see what happens. It may turn, and if it turns, you're okay. But I don't think you should let it fall below about 90. I think you should definitely protect your capital at that level. So that's my insight on it. Would you look, please, at Apple at the weekly MACD? It's really interesting. Okay, let me go back to that again. That's a little bit more technical than I want to go today on Apple, but I'll probably talk about a little bit more about Apple in a little bit of time. What do you think about Moderna? Is it a good buy? Well, let's see. MRDN, I think it's at MRDN. Is that Moderna? No. MODR. What's Moderna symbol? Hold on. mRNA. I should know that one. mRNA. Let's go back to Moderna. Here. There we go. There's Moderna. Let's pull up Moderna here. So let's see if we can find out anything about this. That, you know, here's the thing about Moderna. This is a class. It still has a really good relative strength at 98. I mean, that's a very good relative strength. But let's look at the weekly chart. I do think we're starting to see a trend, yeah, and it's not the kind of trend I want to see. It's a downward trend. It looks like we're, you know, here's the thing you've got to do with Moderna. If it reverses, and what I mean is it goes down and then it hits this line, this 40-day line, and then it comes back up, then I think you can buy it. Right now, you cannot buy this one at this level. It's just at this level, it may fall lower than that. Now, will it? I don't know. I don't know, because, you know, they have some very good sales numbers here. And of course, we have increasing fund ownership, you know, and the funds are right on this one. It still doesn't have it still has a negative cash flow. The biggest issue with Moderna is, of course, its cash flow, because and I think it's going to get a boost because, you know, Moderna will be able to produce everything that they can because of the guarantees that you know, are going to come in from the government. So I don't think it's as much of a concern as I would with other kinds of companies. I don't think they're going to have problems there. But the thing is, I don't know. You know, this is a story stock, and I just, you know, I do think it's probably going to come back down to the it's probably going to come down to the pivot, which is at 95. It's at 111 right now. So you know, if I had this right now, I would be putting a stop loss basically at about 109. So I would bail out of this at 109. I wouldn't let it go much further than that. Now I think it may turn higher, but you know, I just don't think it's a good buy right now. I really don't. So I appreciate that question. Sorry to be a downer there. Hey man, thank you. Sorry to be a downer on that. CIEM. Let's look at that one. CIEM and CIEN. I'm sorry. MN. There we go. Okay, Sienna. Okay. And this is interesting because, you know, this is of course, this is kind of like Cisco and the other companies that are in this space. You know, boy, that's looking nice. It has a relatively weak relative strength at 60. That's not very exciting to me. And we do have falling sales, at least in this quarter, but we do have increasing fund ownership. So I'm liking that. Let's look, you know, there is a buy point on this at 59.27. So we're below that considerably. The question is it worth buying at this level? You know, it's 6 out of 9. That passes. And the increasing fund ownership. You know what? Here's the thing about Sienna. It does have an upward trending relative strength line, which I like to see. But we've had some buying. You know what? I need to see more strength on this before I would buy this. I kind of want to see it. Let's look at the daily chart. Let's see if we can find a buy point on this one. You know what? This might be buyable right about here. You know, this might be buyable because I'm looking. I think that, you know, if we can hold on to this gain, it's looking awful good. You know what? You might want to consider this one if it can move above about 55. I would try to go about 58. I would buy this if it went above about this level here. This is the consolidation. Yeah, there we go. If it went above about, I would say 55, 56, 57. If it went above this line here, this is the line I'm trying to show here, then I think you could make an early buy. Now, the thing about the early buy, you don't want to buy a full position. You only want to buy a half a position or less. If then it moved up to the buy point, then I think you could go in with another full, in another half position. But I wouldn't have more than one full position in this. This is an okay one, but there are better ones out there. I definitely think this should be watch listed. Happy holiday! Hey, thanks, Kay. Appreciate it. Nano Dimensions. I think is it NNDM or is it NN? Let me look at NNDM. I think that's what it is. NNDM. I could have that wrong. Yeah, Nano Dimensions, NNDM. Let's look at that one, Kay. Thanks for bringing that up. This is essentially a penny stock. I'll be honest with you. Any stock that's below $10 kind of classifies that way. It's off a little bit today. It's off a little bit today. Moving down. But let's look at the weekly chart to see if there's sort of what the trend is. I do like this trend. I have to say, I do like this trend. I just kind of want to go in the Wayback Machine here and see. I want to look kind of where this has been and where this is coming from. So let me kind of look back here a little bit. Wow, this is a real tough one. This is a real tough. It's been trending down up until basically till the beginning of this year. Then it started to move upwards above the 21-day line. You know what? I just can't recommend this one, Kay. It's not powerful enough for me. I mean, I think it might be in the future. I think we might be there, but I don't like. I kind of think that we got to be careful. Where it is currently. I'll pull this back up again. It just seems to me. I mean, yes, we do have this nice. We do have this nice trend here, but we are still, and we're above the 10-day line. I'm just a little bit concerned about this. I want to see if this thing pulls back to the 21-day line. There just isn't really any place to buy this. Let's see what happens let's see if it bounces at 797. If it pulls back to 797 and then turns around, it might be a buy. There is a consolidation here, very short term, that you could possibly buy on. But I think it's too risky. I don't think I would be in this one. At least not until it went above about $10. I think that would be the thing to do. DraftKings, DKNG. This is this has been an interesting stock. It's been a kind of a, it's been a tough one to totally, to totally sleuth out. But I've been checking out of this one twice. DKNG. Look at the chart on DraftKings. Yeah, it's pulling below the 40-day line. So let's see. You're down more than 8% on this one. You know what? Here's my rule, and I know you're not going to like hear what I'm going to say on this one. Here's my rule: sell it. You're down more than 8%. You don't want to let it go to 9, 10, 12, 14, 20 until it turns around. Here's the thing: sell it and then wait for it to start on an upward trend again. The correct buy point on DraftKings is 53.72. It's currently at 48.92, and it's going and it's reversed. Here's the thing: I think it's gonna make a stand right here at the 40-day line, and that is right about 46. So I wouldn't hang on. I would sell this if it bounces off that 46. Then you might buy it again, but I think it's time to sell DraftKings and wait for it to move into a better uptrend. That's what I would do on it. That's what I would do in this situation. Let's see. I have $140K from a trust, except a house down payment. I want to invest. What platform do you suggest? Well, Boy, that thank you for that. Thank you for that question. I definitely think that investing in a house is a great thing. I you know I have a house. I don't even have a mortgage on it now because of my trading. But I do think you can make very good money in trading. Here's the thing. Here's what I would do initially. You want to probably you probably want to do something initially with that kind of money. You want to kind of ease your way in, and what I would recommend would be the QQQ trust. As long as the market is a confirmed uptrend, then I think you want to be in the QQQ. If it moves to a market trend under pressure, then you want to be at half in cash, half in the QQQ. And then if the market reverses and corrects, you want to sell and be all in cash. So that's the first thing I would do. But in terms of a platform that I use 3 brokers. I use TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, and Fidelity, and they're all good, and they're all no fee, and they're all real good. There's some other good ones too out there. I typically like TD Ameritrade the best because they have the best execution, and I trade a fair amount, so that is important to me. But Fidelity is good, and so is Charles Schwab. I would recommend possibly looking at Charles Schwab just because I think Charles Schwab has some, and I'm not making any money from Charles Schwab. I wish I was. Maybe I'll start doing that as a referral. But I do think Charles Schwab is very good. They have excellent. They've got all the products. They even has fractional shares. So you don't have to go to Robinhood to get a fractional share. The execution is much better with Charles Schwab than it is with some of the tier 2 or tier 3 brokers. So I do recommend Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, and then not Fidelity, not as quite as much. That's mainly for your retirement accounts. But if I'm trading, I think both are good. Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade. And I think they're both good. And interestingly enough, Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade, so it's still separate, but but I do recommend it. I think it's a very, very good, very, very good. So very good. You think Moderna will go back up? Well, it probably will, but here's the thing. Here's the kind of trader I'm a momentum trader. I'm always looking to buy as a stock is moving to a higher level, and then I sell it typically on the pullback. And so I think there's other places to look. Don't fall in love. I mean, believe me, the stock is just a stock. Is just a stock. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Tesla or if it's if it's Blink Charging. It doesn't matter. The important thing is what is direction. Is the direction going up? Well, if the direction is going up, you want to hop on that escalator, move up a few floors, and then get off when it starts to pull back a little bit. That's what I recommend to do. So don't fall in love with anything, even though Moderna is a good company. It doesn't pay to fall in love with anything. Hey, Mega Homes, let's look at Peloton. They have just done incredible in this COVID thing. They have really, really done well. But it may be time to start looking around because I'm not so sure if everything opens up that they're gonna. I guess it's great when their bikes are very expensive, and I think that a lot of people, and of course it goes after a different demographic, but a lot of people are just not going to be as interested, I don't think, once this whole COVID thing is stopped. There was a buy point on it, and it gapped up. Wow, look at that, 139. This is the reason. Just want to kind of analyze this. This is the reason why. This is the reason. This is the reason why pivots are so important, because you can see it moves down and then down and then it starts to move up, and then when it gets right to the pivot, that's when it potentially can move up much higher, and it did. Unfortunately, there is resistance for Peloton right about here, and it looks as if it's pulled back. Now, can it consolidate and move higher? Absolutely, it can. But it's looking like there are some clouds on the horizon. Let's take a look. Well, not really. This is still a pretty good chart. Really, to see that, you have to look at the weekly chart. That's what I'm doing. It's still got a 98 relative strength. There was a tremendous amount of buying right here. It's pulled back to the 21-day line, but it's still looking really good. I mean, look at these sales numbers. Don't lie. They're very good. It does have a negative cash flow, but look at the number of of funds that are moving into it. So let's look at the smell test. Does it meet the smell test? It absolutely does. 8 out of 9. So that's really good. Now, this is not. I'm not in Peloton. I'll be honest with you. This is not my kind of stock, to be honest with you, because it seems like could be a lot of competition. That is one thing I agree with. That's one thing I agree with Warren Buffett on. I like companies with moats. It doesn't seem like they have much of a moat here. I mean, they've got basically it's an exercise bike with a screen, and there's a lot of other companies like Schwinn that could make it. So I don't know, but they do have a tremendous, they have a great revenue model. So there's a lot of good things going on there. I'm just not as excited about Peloton now. Will it go back? Well, I don't know, because I mean, you look at some of the stocks like Lululemon. I'm just amazed that they continue to go up. But I'm not a buyer of Peloton. I just don't like the way it looks right now. I'm kind of I'm not a buyer of it. Let's look at PACB. Let's see what we got there. PACB. Oh, Pacific Biosciences, interesting. 27.34 is the price on Pacific Biosciences currently. Wow, look at that. 99 relative strength. Wow, I didn't know about this one. But this is, even though it does have some sales that are decreasing, it is negative cash flow. It definitely has some very, very nice fund ownership. Now, this is sort of a theme, I think, coming in 2021. It looks as if Biden will be the president. You don't know, obviously, until everything is done. I mean, we won't know until the 20th for absolute positive. But if that is the case, then I believe you're going to see some of the healthcare stocks do much, much better. And this Pacific Biosciences definitely kind of moves into that kind of area. It's got a good checklist. It has definitely good funds now. But the problem with these biosciences companies, they tend to be, either feast or famine. One of the things I want to look at is the IBB, and the IBB is a ETF which buys all of the biotechs, and I think it's likely to do quite well next year. I just want to kind of look to see if there's any sort of entry point into it. We had a buy point back here, back here in September at about 146. It's at 153. It's off a little bit today, but it does look like there is a pivot. So this might be an alternative of buying just one company like Pacific Biosciences. There are some very good, excuse me, there are some very good stocks in this area, but I think you have to be careful. Now, one stock I want to show you, and this is a stock that I had a position in, I was shaken out, but I tell you, on this one, I made 10% like in one day, and I want to show you. The symbol for it is EDIT, EDIT. It is a gene editing company, and it is just on fire. And I probably want to put together a report on this one, because I think this can go even higher than it is currently. I'm showing you the daily chart on this. It's called Editas Medicine Incorporated, and it has a little bit of a kind of a consolidation action here at this level. It's pulled back. I mean, it's definitely pulled back. It was up today, it's pulling back, but this has the potential of being a much bigger stock. As you can see, people are buying this, and the funds are buying this one heavily. It's got a nice checklist. 8 out of 9, and the fund ownership, this is one thing that's really pushing this, is moving up very, very nicely, and of course it's in a very good sector. So let's look at the industry. Yeah, it's 37 out of 197 in terms of sector. So this is looking very, very strong here. Now, is it still possible to buy this thing? Well, I basically bought it out of this, bought it basically when it moved above here. Now, it's a little bit dangerous to buy this far extended. This is a very extended stock. So it is dangerous to buy it. Where I would buy this one, though, is possibly right about this level. And that is, give you that number, is about 87. So I do believe if it moves to be above 87 once again, because that seems to be some resistance there, it could go a lot higher. But this one you might want to watch list. This will be on the watch list that I'm putting out. Or Editus Medicine. So that's another one of the biotech areas that you might want to look at. It's possibly pretty good. Is ETC somewhat like ETF? Cheers. Hey, thank you. Well, everybody, I'm sure that you know that the ETF is an exchange traded fund, and the way this works is, of course, is that it's like a mutual fund, but unlike a mutual fund, it's closed end, meaning that they start with a certain amount of capital. They put that in there, and they buy securities with those funds, and then that trades as a unit up or down on the exchange, just like a stock. Now, an ETC, I think we're talking about where it doesn't hold stocks; it holds mortgages and notes. Well, let me see that. Let me see if I can give you a good idea on that. Yeah, it's really. Let me see if I can give you a good, kind of view on that. ETC. I can't really. I think we're talking about an ETF here, and that's an exchange traded fund. So that's basically all I have for you on that. I don't exactly. There are exchange traded notes. And that one might be what we're talking about, but the symbol for ETC, of course, is not that. So I'll have to do some more research on that. Okay, so thank you very much. Wishing you a very happy New Year. Thoughts on Mira and Riot? Let's look at Riot. I like Riot a lot. I'm not in it currently, but it's been on my watch list. RIOT. It was started out as a penny stock, and it's definitely not a penny stock right now. Of course, as everybody knows, they're in the blockchain area, not for cryptocurrency, but for chain of custody. And I think this may actually be a bigger deal than even the crypto. But it's starting to set up. Let's see if there's a weekly chart. Let's just see if there's any place we can buy this thing. It's tough to buy this because, as you can see, really the buy point on this is going to be right about 30, but we're well below that. It's quite speculative to buy this right now, of course. So you don't want to do a full position. There was a first stage cup, but that was at 331, which is a lot lower than this, up $2.53 today. The question is, but we have some things that are really excellent about this. It's a thinly traded stock, so we have to be careful on this one. But we have the earnings are up, which I love. It got increasing fund ownership. That's key. It's still a little bit light in terms of the fund. I want to see 20% fund ownership on up to about 65, and it is cash flow negative. That's not necessarily a problem for a tech company or a growth company. But what it is a problem is inconsistent growth in terms of sales. Sales are key for a company like this, and I do see we're moving to the positive. So we may be early stage in here. What I really like about this, of course, is it's got a 99 relative strength. That is excellent. That means it's in the top 1% of all stocks currently. The checklist is excellent as well, 8 out of 9, and we do have fund ownership in it. Let's look at the industry and sector. Okay. The industry sector is not as well as I'd like. It's 164. It's basically, I believe, it's in financial services. Even though this is in financial services, this isn't really fintech. So I don't think this is necessarily misclassified, but it's definitely, that drags it down a little bit. Now, the question is, would I buy this thing? Absolutely, I would. The question is, where would I buy it? Well, I think that you're going to have to wait for this to move even higher. And I know that's going to be tough. I want to see it move. I want to see it to consolidate a little bit But I do think if it moves above about 23, it's probably a very, very good buy. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, there just isn't. This is going to be tough to buy this thing. Where would I buy this? Well, here's what I would do. I would buy this. I would buy a quarter position on this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put that down. Riot. A quarter position on this one. If it moves above about 1625 or 1635. That's where I buy it. Now, how would I do it? Well, the way I would do it is with a buy stop limit order at good for day only at 1625 and see what happens on that tomorrow, because it does look like it's gaining strength and there's been a lot of buying on this. So it does look like this is gaining strength. So potentially, I would do a half position potentially on this at 135. Of course, it's not a recommendation, but obviously everything is for entertainment purposes only here. But that's kind of what it's showing me on Riot Blockchain. Let's see the other one that you have. And that was very good, by the way, Noel. Appreciate that. That's a very good call. MARA. Let's look at MARA. MARA. Let's see if there's anything there. Marathon Patent Group. This is a little bit tougher in my estimation. I understand what these are. These are patent trolls, and they buy up patents and then they basically sue companies. Here's the thing about these kind of companies. They can be very good, but it's more speculative. It definitely is above the $10 mark, which is good. But I don't know about it. It's definitely got a excellent checklist, 8 out of 9, and we do have some funds in it, but it's a very thinly traded stock, and that could be very problematic. The problem with thinly traded is that if we get a pullback, you may not be able to sell your shares on this one. And we did have basically a trend. To the beginning of this year, the trend was down. So I don't know about this one. I would watch this one, Noel, but I think that Riot is, I think Riot. I realize that MAR is linked to Bitcoin, but I think your better bet is Riot because suing for patent is a long and arduous project. It can be very profitable, but I think your better bet is Riot Blockchain, and that's definitely been on my horizon. I haven't put it up on the watch list, but I think I may, because I do think that a lot of companies are interested in that kind of thing, and I think that there's a lot of potential there. Thank you very much, Try-R Market Makers. That's cool. ABML. Let's look at ABML really quickly here. Thank you for signing on. I appreciate that. ABML. So I may have to jump over to your site. Thank you for taking a look at mine. I really appreciate that. ABML. Is that right? Did I get that right? No, I don't seem to have that. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have that symbol. Is that right? ABML. Yeah, well, ABML. So TYR. Sorry, I can't bring that one up. But if you give me more information, maybe I can pull that one up. I'm not familiar with that particular symbol. Let's look at Copart, CPRT. CPRT. And this is a tremendous company. This is in Addison, Texas. I happen to know a little bit about this one because it is so close. Basically, it's down the block from where I am here. Copart, it's basically a very, very good company. This one has been on the IBD 50 many times. It's at a very nice cup formation. 130 is the buy point on it. The question is, where is it buyable? Boy, this is looking good. Yeah, this is definitely making a move. This is definitely making a move. This is the buy point on this is 130.98. It's got a 75 relative strength. That's a little bit concerning. I like to see 80 on that. The checklist is good though. Yeah, the checklist is good, and The fund ownership is excellent. Look at that. Wow. And the industry sector. One of the things is, this is got it. The problem, the real thing is weighing it down is the industry rank. It's 187 out of 197. This is not a particularly industry that I like to buy in. It's auto parts, but one thing I do know, and I do think we're going to have, unfortunately, a little bit of a recession coming into the next year, no matter who eventually ends up being the next president. I do think there's going to be a recession just because so many things have been shut down. Companies that are in the auto parts business typically do well in recessions. And that is absolute fact because people can't afford to buy new cars, so they fix the ones they have. And so I do like this one. I think it's buyable. Here's the thing. The buy point on it is 130.50, 96. So let me put that out there on the chat. CPRT buy point equal to 130, 130.98 on that. So that is potentially a winner. Don't necessarily recommend it yet because it's not in the buy point. But if you want to start building a position, don't go in all guns. Try to start building a position, half position first, and then a follow-on buy when it moves past the when it moves past the buy point at 130. I think you may have a winner on Copart. So thanks for that, Avery. Appreciate it. How do you add a stop loss to on ETFs like our? Okay, very good question. And I need to make this. I need to make a video on it. The great thing about a ETF is it trades just like a stock. So you basically do a stop limit or a stop market order. With the stop market order, if the stock moves, if the ETF price in normal trading hours, this is only normal trading hours because ETFs do not trade in extended hours. They only trade during normal market hours. If during that time, if you have a stop market order, and I need to put this on out there, if you have a stop market order, it's going to actuate if at any time the price dips below that. If you have a stop limit order, it's going to activate at a certain price, and then it's going to have your price that you want to bid on. You want to ask on that. So if you have an ask on that, then and if that's filled, then it will actuate. Now, on stop orders, I typically like the stop market orders better, and the reason I do that, the reason I like them better, is because they typically, in a fastly falling market, you will get filled on a stock market, and you may not get filled on a stop limit. So that's what I like about them. Hey, Wendy, thank you very much for you have a good Christmas. DraftKings, I covered DraftKings a little bit earlier, so I'm gonna move on here. But thank you very much for the question. I do think that DraftKings it's in a downward trend. Let's wait for it to reverse, probably on the 40-day line. But I do appreciate the question. Let's see if I can get another question from TikTok. Thank you for everybody. By the way, everybody on TikTok, I am simulcasting this on YouTube. It's super easy to get onto the YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and we're showing the charts and everything with that as well. So thank you for that. All right, so let's see. Where to put $1,000? Neo, Tesla, or Palantir? Gosh, you know what, Payek? I think those are all great questions. You know what? I would do neither. I would do neither of them. And here's why. Neo has run up and it's done very good, but I do think that the Chinese stocks like BABA and JD and all those stocks, I think that they're going to come under increasing scrutiny, because I do think as Trump leaves office, I suspect that there's going to be some tariffs put up. There's going to be they're going to require the Chinese companies to use generally accepted accounting principles. And if that's true, many of them are going to be delisted in the U.S. Now, they may still be able to be listed on the Hong Kong exchange, but I think that that's coming. So I wouldn't be you got to be really careful with Chinese stocks right now because there is that kind of that issue going on. With Tesla, it is not in an ideal place to buy it at the moment because it's below what I consider its next major buy point, which is 695. Currently, it's trading at about between 665 and about 670. So I can't really recommend, if you only had 1,000, to put it in Tesla either. Palantir is another one that I'm a little bit concerned with because it's tending to pull back. Now I do own Palantir. What I would recommend right now is that with a small amount of money, I think that GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC is probably a winner. And the reason is I do think there's going to be increasing demand for Bitcoin, and GBTC is likely to go up based on that. GBTC holds about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. So now, can you buy it at this level? Well, I would prefer it at a different level, but remember, this is an ETF, and we still have not reached basically the all-time high, which is about 39. So I think you could still buy GBTC. That's what I would recommend right now out of those. So that's what I would recommend would be GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's where I would put 1,000 if if I had 1,000, because I do think that we could see we could see a 20, 30, 40, even 100% appreciation on that, because I do think with all this money coming into the market, I do think there's going to be a demand for these kind of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and GBTC is an easy way to hold Bitcoin. So let's look at Farfetched, which is I think it's FTCH is the symbol on that one. FTCH, is that right? Let's look here. Yep, Farfetched Limited, and this has been a good one. I want to kind of show you the chart on it. Excuse me. Hopefully I'm not coming down with anything. Let's look at the daily. Look at it's pulled back to its 21-day line. The question is, will it rebound? Boy, look at this, 99 relative strength. Here's the thing about this, we don't want to buy it necessarily at this very moment because it is a pullback. But if this thing reverses higher, I think we might have a very good buy here. This definitely is going to be on my watch list. FTCH. I'm just making that right now. So let's look at the checklist on it. Yeah, it's excellent. 7 out of 9. Let's look at increasing fund ownership, just barely, but still increasing. Industry and sector, 67 out of 197. So that's very good. All these things are lining up. They're looking very good. This is the fashion company. This is kind of the fast fashion company. Where would I buy this? Well, you know what? I want to see what's going to happen here. There definitely is a bit of a sell signal here. So I don't think we could buy it today. I wouldn't want to watch this one. Don't buy this one today. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it continues through. Let's see if it continues its way down. And if it does, then it could potentially come all the way down here to about 47 before it bounces. But right now it just is not a buy, unfortunately. It's a watch list, and I would be, let's wait for it to possibly return higher. Okay, what about Fiverr? And I did sell my Fiverr this morning, just for full disclosure. Let's see. Let's look at Fiverr. Yeah, it took a big dump. Here's what I typically do when I'm buying a stock is that I will buy it on an uptrend, and then typically what I'll do is I will set my stop loss basically right about the 21-day line, and that's the case here. And then it fell through that, so I was sold out. But it's continuing to move lower. So that's one of the reasons why you want to set those stop losses, because you can get those reversals. Right now, we'll see if it pulls back. It's probably going to bounce at the 40-day line. So right now it's not viable. But if you could hang on a little bit, Byron, and if it pulls down to the 40-day line, which is right now at about 182, 183, and then it bounces, then I think you could possibly buy it. But right now you can't buy it. It's too far extended and it's pulling below that 21-day line. So it's broken. It looks like it may have broken trend. We'll know in the next few days, but unfortunately, that is not a buy right now on that. So it's unfortunate. Well, thank you, everyone. I didn't get to everyone's questions. I so appreciate these questions. I just wanted to kind of reiterate what we have with the action trade alerts. I'm going to be probably putting some more out on that. It's easy to get on board with those. Super easy. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and basically, subscribe. It's free. It's free. Basically, YouTube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. It really helped me out. I do like it when you do that. And of course, it's all free. Also, and then so hit that like button. There we go. We like that one. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, if you want the action trade alerts, this is kind of my special thing where I just said basically how I'm going to be trading things. I'm going to be probably putting together a earnings season, options trades that I'm going to be doing. And those probably will only be available on the action trade alerts. And to get the action trade alerts, you have to go to the website, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and then just subscribe to the action trade alerts, first and last name, and then email address. And of course, it's all free as well. So until tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow, and I probably will be here tomorrow, and I don't think I'm probably going to be Thursday and Friday because those are going to be shortened days on the market. But Tuesday and Tuesday, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I will be here with Dallas Trading Floor. And thanks again. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends about Dallas Trading Floor. Till tomorrow, happy trading.